Good morning. Namaskar. Let us begin with a prayer. This is on page 206 of the book, The Universal Prayers. The first one on page 206. This is from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's composition, Jagannatha Ashtakam. A hymn containing 8 stanzas, Ashtakam. Om Navayyache Rajyam Nacha Kanakamanikya Vibhavam Nayache Kham Ramyam Sakalajanakaamyam Varavadhum Sada Kale Kale Pramatapatina Gati Charito Gita Charito Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, I do not ask for a kingdom, nor for gold and jewels, nor do I ask for a beautiful bride, so eagerly desired by men. Please reveal yourself to me, O mighty Lord of the universe, whose glory is always sung even by the greatest of gods. O God of gods, pray remove forthwith from my mind all fascination for this vain and fleeting world. Lord, take away the heaps of heinous sins from me. O God, ever bestow your unfailing mercy upon the miserable and the helpless. O mighty Lord of the universe, please reveal yourself to me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May there be peace in our hearts. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. And may there be peace everywhere in nature. Adhyatmika Shanti, Adi Bhautika Shanti, and Adi Daivika Shanti. Now let us continue our study of chapter 16. The first 3 verses, shlokas in chapter 16, they deal with daivī sampat, divine virtues, which all have to practice, cultivate and practice, especially spiritual seekers of God. So we have to practice these virtues. These virtues, 26 of them in the first 3 shlokas, most of them have come in earlier chapters in a different context. While describing the qualities of a Sthita Prajna in a second chapter, Bhagavan Shri Krishna mentioned some of these. While describing the qualities, signs of self-knowledge in 13th chapter, from verses 7 to 11, these virtues have come, many of these have come. In the 12th chapter, in the description of the virtues of a bhakta devotee, some of these virtues have come. In the 14th chapter, while describing the qualities of a triguna-atita, one who has transcended the 3 gunas, some of the same qualities have come. Now these have come here. They are all gathered together and presented in one place in 3 shlokas. So first shloka we finished. Second shloka also we did most of it. First shloka in chapter 16, śrībhagavānuvāca abhayaṃ sattvasaṃśuddhirjñānayogavyavasthitiḥ dānaṃ damaśca yajñaśca svādhyāyastapa ārjavam abhayaṃ, fearlessness, sattvasaṃśuddhirjñānayogavyavasthitiḥ, purity of mind, yajñaśca, persistence in the practice of self-knowledge, dānaṃ, charity, damaḥ, control of sense organs, yajña, performing all actions as sacrifice, offering, yajña, svādhyāyam, study of scriptures, tapaḥ, austerities with the body, of the mind and speech, ārjavam, straightforwardness, uprightness. The study of scriptures has three meanings. Most common meaning of svādhyāya is study of some scripture like Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, and the other scriptures. The second meaning of svādhyāya is repetition of mantra, especially Om mantra. That meaning is given by Swami Vivekananda in his commentary on the Raja Yoga and Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Another meaning of svādhyāya can be study of one's own mind. The most important scripture is our mind. We create it. We have been creating it every moment. We are adding thoughts to our mind. That's the sum total of all the thoughts that we have thought and we are thinking. That is our personality. So you have to study it every day. What kind of thoughts have I thought about today since morning? Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. I should not repeat them. So that kind of study of one's own mind, introspection has to be done. That is also svādhyāya, study of oneself. Svādhyāya, tapa, ārjavam, straightforwardness. The second shloka, ahimsa, samasatyam, tyāgashantirapaiṣunam, taya bhūteshvalo luptvam, mārdavam hrīrachapalam. This we have to complete. And then third shloka, teja kshamadriti saucham adroho nātimanita bhavanti sampadam daivīm abhijatasya pandava abhijatasya bharata. These three shlokas contain a list of virtues, with divine virtues, divine qualities. So in the second shloka, ahimsa, non-violence, by thought, word and deed. Violence can be not only physical, it can be through words. We can say harsh words to somebody, even to an animal. It causes pain to them. Sometimes if it's a harsh word, people become angry. They say more harsh words to us. But animals cannot retaliate. They suffer. They also have pain, like we have pain. So we should not cause pain to other people, animals, by saying harsh words. And physically, violence we should not do at all. We have to be very careful. Unintentionally, we may do some violence, unknowingly. That also we should try to avoid as much as possible. Himsa can be very subtle. Whenever we do perform any action, it is possible that it may result in pain, inconvenience to other beings. They may not be aware of it, they may not intend to do it. It is possible. Even just to walk on the street, they may be causing pain to small creatures crawling on the ground, which you don't see. That also we should try to prevent as much as possible. There was a Swamiji whom I knew. He would not walk on grass. Grass is also a living being. We don't pay attention to grass, it is everywhere, but he would feel hesitant to walk on grass because you are causing himself to the living being. So like that. But sometimes it is inevitable. We have to walk, we have to breathe, we have to drink water, then so many other bacteria, other things will be there. So to the extent possible, we should not cause himsa. And himsa can be of three types. Himsa means violence. One can directly do himsa. That is the worst thing. Causing violence to anybody or anything is ourselves is not good. Should be totally avoided. Second way of causing himsa is through some other agency. I may ask someone to do something violent to somebody, and I may say, technically, I did not do it, but I caused it. Using some other person as an agent, that also should not be done. Karitam. Patanjali differentiates three kinds of himsa. Kritam, karitam, anumoditam. Kritam means doing oneself directly. This is absolutely forbidden. Karitam means making somebody do something on my behalf, violence or telling or lies or something. I might not tell a lie directly, but I may say somebody and something wrong, and that person may convey to somebody indirectly. We can do such things. Should not be done. Karitam. Third way of doing himsa is anumoditam. Anumodana means approval. If somebody does something wrong and I keep quiet, I encourage him. I simply, by remaining quiet, I may encourage that person. That means I'm also, to some extent, a party to that wrong thing that that person is doing. That also should not be done. So very carefully, we have to prevent violence of all types to all beings at all times. Ahimsa, Satyam. This is a very big topic. Satyam. We discussed this some of this last time. Most important virtue is Satyam. If you ask me, or scriptures also say same thing. I'm not saying anything new. What is the one most important thing that we all have to observe? That is truthfulness, Satyam. Sri Ramakrishna said several times in the Gospel, 7 or 8 times. He said, in the Kali Yuga, Satyam, truthfulness alone is a tapas. By observing Satyam totally, by thought, word, and deed, we can purify the mind and reach the goal. In the Upanishads, it says, Satyameva jagate na anritam. Truth alone triumphs. Anritam means falsehood. Should never succeeds. In the short run, untruth may bring some advantage. By telling lie, I may get some advantage. But that is short-lived, and my karma will catch up with me. Eventually, I'll have to pay. In the long run, it causes a lot of pain. Not telling the truth. So, in the Upanishad, truthfulness is emphasized very much. Satyena pantha vitato devayanaha, says Upanishad. The path to God, you're all walking on the path towards God, is supported by Satyam. Truthfulness is the path to God. And in the Taittiriya Upanishad, there is a very beautiful section. Most of all the Upanishad, whole Upanishad is very beautiful. Taittiriya Upanishad is sheer poetry containing sublime thoughts. So in a Gurukulam, those days schools were in the form of Gurukulam. Teacher's house in the forest hermitage, students would stay there as residents. The teacher and his wife would take care of the students, and he would teach them lessons, and they would participate in the household chores, students. So one group of students, they finished their studies. They would stay there for 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, or longer, some students. So when one group of students finished their studies and were about to go back to their own homes to pursue their lives, the teacher gives parting instructions, final instructions. The first instruction that the teacher gives is Satyam Vada, practice truthfulness. The other things, a lot of other instructions he gives. First thing he says is Satyam Vada, always tell the truth. Then he says Dharmam Chara, practice dharma, dharmic way of life. Anything adharmic we should not do by thought, word, or deed. And other instructions. And in the same set of instructions, is Svādhyāya also comes. Svādhyāya ma pramadaha. Never refrain from doing Svādhyāya every day, our duty. Every day we have to study some scriptures, one sloka of Gita or one page of Gospel or any Ramayana or something, you have to study every day. Part of our daily life. We should make it a part of our daily life, Svādhyāya. So like this, he gives instruction. There, Satyam is the first one. In the same context, the teacher says 4 things. Matra Devo Bhava. Treat your mother as God. She is. Not as God, she is the mother. God comes in the form of mother in our lives. Gives birth to us. Only a mother knows how much sacrifice is involved in bringing up a child, giving birth to a child, bringing up a child. Mother should be worshipped as God. Loving the mother, serving her, and doing everything to make her happy. Second is Pitradeva Bhava. Father comes. Mother, father, they are God in our lives. Respect God. You respect father as God. Then third instruction is Acharya Devo Bhava. God comes in the form of our teacher to give us knowledge. So we should respect the teacher, follow the teacher's instructions. Shri Ramakrishna had several teachers. Totapuri was his Advaita Vedanta teacher. Bhairavi Brahmani taught him the Bhakti Path and Tantra. And there was one person who taught him about Christianity, one person taught him about Islam, like that. Acharya Deva Bhava, teacher is our God. By worshipping, doing seva to the teacher, a student can achieve knowledge. As we saw in the case of Totakacharya, Shankaracharya's disciple. Then the fourth instruction he gives is Atithi Devo Bhava. Atithi means one who comes without appointment. Tithi means date of the lunar calendar. A month is made up of 2 fortnights, from first day to the Purnima, 15 days, and then from Purnima to Amavasya, another 15 days, 1 month is complete. So Atithi means one who comes without giving the date, appointment, without making prayer appointment. Those days there was no way to communicate. If I wanted to go to somebody's house, how to tell that person I'm coming to your house? There was no telephone, there was no email, there was nothing. We have to go and tell that person knows, welcome. Atithi means a person who comes. That Atithi should be treated as God. God himself comes in the form of the guest to our house. So these instructions are given there. The first of these instructions is Satyam Madam, truthfulness, most important instruction. Shri Ramakrishna says that even those who are engaged in worldly life, business and other activities, they also should follow truthfulness. No exception. In the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, Okay. Patanjali gives 10 instructions in the first 2 steps. 8 steps are there. Ashtanga Yoga. Yama Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara Dharana, Dhyana Samadhi. 8 steps. The first step has 5 instructions. Yama. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha. Satya comes there. Ahimsa comes there. These 5 instructions. Ahimsa means non-injury. Satya means truthfulness. Asteya means not stealing somebody's property. Brahmacharya means purity, celibacy. Aparigraha means not accepting things more than the most basic minimum needs, even if it comes free. These 5 Patanjali calls Sarvabhauma Mahavrataha. Dete Sarvabhauma Mahavrataha. These 5 are universal eternal values. They are not conditioned by time, space, or a situation, and nothing changes. These 5 things have to be followed in all countries, at all times, under all circumstances. Certain other values are specific to time and place. These are universal eternal values. Then always have to be followed. Satyam, Ahimsa, 2 of them are there. So Ahimsa, Satyam, first 2 things. In the second verse, we should tell always truth only. That again comes in next chapter. Satyam comes in next chapter. In sloka number 15, when Shri Krishna describes the austerities of speech. We'll come back to the topic of Satyam again in next chapter. Now, third one, akrodha. This also we did. Not becoming angry. Krodha means anger. Anger comes when your expectations are not fulfilled. You expect somebody to behave in a certain way, and that person does something opposite, different. Then you become angry. Like mother becoming angry with the child. Repeatedly, mother has told the child to do the homework, and child does not do, goes out to play. Then mother becomes angry. Not really angry, but show of anger. Scolds the child. So why did she become angry? Because the child did not follow her instructions. The child did not behave the way he was expected to behave. So that is cause of anger, frustration, anger. Anger comes in this work situation. Your co-worker does something which is detrimental to your work, then you become angry. Like that. So akrodha, not becoming angry. But we have to sometimes take a firm stand. Otherwise, some people will take advantage of our patience. They think we are weak. So we have to stand up for our rights firmly, but without anger, without hatred. Assertive, but not aggressive. Akrodha. Akrodha here means paraihi akrishtasya abhihatasya va praptasya krodasya upashamanam. Shankara says, freedom from anger denotes suppression of anger when abused or hit by others. When some provocation comes, then we become angry. There's some reason for becoming angry, some provocation, somebody does something that upsets you, then also you should not become angry. Akrodha. Next one is tyagaha. Himsa, satyam, akrodha, tyagaha. The tyaga is a very big topic in itself. It comes again in the 18th chapter. In the 18th chapter, second shloka, Bhagavan Shri Krishna describes tyaga in this way. Sarva karma phala tyagam tyagam prahur vichakshana. Second 18th chapter, second shloka, second line. Sarva karma phala tyagam. Giving up attachment to all karma phala. We do so many karma every day. We're always doing some karma. And every karma brings about some karma phala. Result will come. Good, bad, or indifferent. We should not become attached to the karma phala. Without being attached, at the same time we have to do the best quality of work. We should not say, if I am not concerned about success failure, why should I bother to do work very hard? I will do something. No, we should do the best quality work. Yoga karmasa kaushalam. Second chapter, he said. After doing the best quality work that we can do, then we should leave it. I've done my part and there my part ends. Result, whatever comes, I'm accepting it without becoming angry or upset if it is not to my liking. You don't always succeed in everything we do. Sometimes you succeed, sometimes you fail. It's when failure comes that we become upset. I did so much work, still it did not succeed. You become upset, angry, sad. That is when you have to remain calm. Kamala Rajamohini, Amma Namaskaram. Anjana Chatterjee, Namaskar. Pratibandhopadhyaya, Namaskar. Tyaga. Tyaga has to be practiced in different ways. What do we give up? Tyaga means giving up. What do we give up? There are 3 or 4 different things we have to give up. First is Vishaya Tyaga, giving up sense objects. We cannot give up sense objects. Physically impossible because everything is a sense object. The body itself is a sense object, so I have to keep it. So giving up sense objects means not having contact with unnecessary sense objects. Those which are essential, we have to keep. We have to have some clothes to wear, we have to have food to eat, we have to have a place to stay, we have to need other things. All those things we can have, but inward detachment. Tyaga can be mental, physical, outward, or mental. Kamala Gopinath, Namaskaram. Mental detachment is more important. Physically, we have to keep things. We can't do away with things. Vishaya. But inwardly, when we keep all the things necessary, we should remain detached, not mine, but his. All the things that we have are gifts temporarily with us. Nothing is permanent. No possession is permanent. They all come and they all go. But when they are with us, any property, body, or other things that we use, when they are with us, we have to put them to good use, take good care of them, and when the separation comes, I've done my part, thank you for being with me, I'm free. That is detachment. Whether it is a person in your life, or a job, work, or money, or body, whatever, they are all possessions, sense objects. They have a purpose in our life. There's a reason why they are there in our life. So you have to take care of them nicely, use them for the purpose for which they were given to us. And then when the separation comes, as it inevitably will come, then I say, thank you for being with me for so long. I've done my part. I've taken good care. I should thank you for serving me. Now we go our ways. I've done my part. Free. That is inward detachment. Not mine, but thine. That is tyaga. Vishaya tyaga. First thing. Second thing is giving up attachment that we studied. Not mine. Sangat tyaga. Then attachment to so many things. Place where we live, we become attached. Work we do, we become attached. The things we have, we become attached. All these things, tyaga has to be done. All these things have to be treated as temporary possessions. They will leave. They are there for a purpose. And I use them, take good care of them, and they leave. Thank you for being with me. Inwardly being detached, not mine. Sri Ramakrishna explains inward detachment with a very nice parable. You heard it. This maid servant working as a domestic help in the household, family of a rich man in the city. She lives there in the employer's place, rich man's house, in a small room. And she refers to her house, garden, his children as her. My Rama, my Hari. Rama, Hari are the master children, not her children. She takes care of them. She gives them bath, washes their clothes, prepares their food, takes them to school, refers to them as my Rama, my Hari, but she knows they are not hers. So that is member detachment. All these things. She refers to master souls as my house, my garden, my kitchen, not hers. She knows that one. That is inwardly being detached. Keeping the things we need, not we can't provide things, we need things. You cannot shun things, we need things. But keep them with inward detachment. My Rama, my Hari. That is Tyaga. Then next comes a very important idea. Shantihi. Everybody in the world wants peace. Nobody says, I don't want peace. Everybody is seeking peace in different ways. Very few find it. What is peace? How to find it? Very big topic. I shall refer to these various places, many places where Shri Krishna talks about peace, Shanti in the Gita. Several times it has come, it will come again. How can we achieve peace? What do we have to do to achieve peace? Not temporary peace, lasting, eternal, unconditional peace. How to get? As much as we can gather from the Gita, many of the slokas refer to Shanti in the Gita. I will study some of them now. Shanti. One thing that we have to do to achieve peace, permanent, eternal, everlasting peace, is either by having pure devotion to God, bhakti, prema, parabhakti, or by having self-knowledge, atma-jnana. Atma-jnana means experiencing one divine nature as the Atman, not as the body and the mind. This is a very long-term goal, difficult to achieve. Am Brahman, Am Brahmasmi, to experience it, not saying it, or reading in books. That's a lifelong project. That only gives permanent peace, eternal peace. As long as we identify with the body, mind, sense objects, I'm this person, I'm living here, I'm doing this work, no peace. These other things will create disturbance in our mind. Sure way to find peace, permanent lasting peace, is to know the self, Atma-jnana. I'm experiencing it. Or for bhakta, devotees, to know God, practice pure devotion to God. Then there will be total peace. Because a devotee surrenders his or her life totally to God. And whatever God does, wherever God keeps us in whatever condition, their devotee is happy and peaceful, no complaining. There's another way to find peace. That Sri Krishna mentions in chapter 5. I'm going to mention several slokas. If you like, you can make a note of them in your notebook. Keep the Gita book with you. Chapter 5, Shloka 29. How to find peace. You're all trying to find peace. There, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, by knowing me means personal God, our Ishtadevata. Not necessarily only Krishna, whatever your Ishtadevata is. Divine Mother, Parvati, Ganesha, Lakshmi, Rama, Krishna, whoever is Ishtadevata, by knowing that, experiencing his or her presence directly. There, 529, Sri Krishna says, Bhoktaram yajñatapasam sarvalokamaheshwaram suhradam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shantim richati. A person achieves peace. How? Mam jnatva, by knowing me, by knowing God. Worldly things don't give us peace. If I have a lot of money, we think it gives us peace. No. It may appear like that for some time. Wealth cannot give us peace. Wealth is temporary. It will go away. Separation will come. People in our lives, they give us peace, but it's not permanent. Separation will come. All associations are temporary. All possessions are temporary. not permanent peace. The only thing gives us permanent, lasting, unconditional peace, everlasting peace, is knowing God, having pure devotion to God. Who is God? Yajñatapasaṃ bhoktaram, the recipient of all yajna that we do, all tapas that we do. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, 529 we are studying. The Lord of the whole universe, of all worlds. Sarvabhutanam suhradam. Suhrat means friend, the friend of all beings. That is the Lord, God Himself. By knowing God, mam jnatva shanti mrichati. Person achieves total, unconditional, everlasting peace. One way to achieve peace, knowing God. Then, what we have to do, we have to surrender our lives to God. That comes in the 18th chapter, sloka number 62. How to achieve peace? By total surrender to the will of God. Shri Ramakrishna calls it giving power of attorney to God. There, 1862, Bhagavan Shri Krishna gives direct instruction how to do, what to do, get peace. Tameva sharanam gacha sarvabhavena bharata tatprasadat param shantim sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam. Param shantim prapsyasi. You will achieve supreme peace. How? Tameva sharanam gacha. Tam means he. He means the Lord, Bhagavan. Our Ishtadevata need not be only Krishna. Whatever God, aspect of what you worship, that. Sharanam gacha. By surrendering our whole life. Sharanagati. You are my supreme refuge. Everything will happen according to your will. I am submitting you to your will. No seeking, no demanding, no nothing. That is surrender. Tameva sharanam gacha sarvabhavena, in all ways. Tat prasadat, by His grace, by the grace of God, param shantim prapsyasi, shashvatam shantim prapsyasi. Shashvata means shashvatam sthanam, eternal abode. Param shantim, supreme peace you will get by surrendering to God. So we have seen a couple of different ways of achieving peace. There are more ways. One of the important ways is why we don't have peace. Why there is ashanti? Because our expectations are not fulfilled. I want to be free from this problem, a problem has come. Then there is no peace. I want to have money, I don't have money, so I don't have peace. Our expectations are not fulfilled. Our desires are not fulfilled. One way to achieve peace, Shri Krishna says in the 2nd chapter of the Gita, is to become free from all desires, conquer all desires. Dharmic desires we can keep, other desires for property, possession, fame should be given up. These giving up of desires is one sure way to find peace. That comes in the last 2 slokas of the 2nd chapter of the Gita. In the 2nd chapter, sloka number 71, 72. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti nakama kami. That is sloka number 70. Last 3 slokas. Second chapter. Last 3 slokas. How to achieve peace? One way to achieve peace is to conquer all the desires. Prajavati yada kaman. And how to do that one? An example is given in the sloka number 70 of chapter 2. He compares a seeker of peace or seeker of self-knowledge or God to an ocean. Samudram. You see the word samudram in the second line. What happens to your sea? So many rivers come from different directions. All of them put their water into the ocean, the rivers. But still, the ocean absorbs all all that water that comes through many rivers and remains the same. In the same way, a seeker of peace, seeker of God or self-knowledge should be like an ocean. Let so many desires come. Whenever you see something, desire comes. I want to have that one. Though many desires come from different directions and confront the mind, a person should remain unaffected by them, just like an ocean remains unaffected by all the rivers of all the waters. That example is given, sloka number 70. How to achieve peace? By conquering all the desires, managing the desires. Apoyamanam achala pratishtham. Does not move, does not become disturbed. Why so much water is coming to me? How can I handle this? Samudram apaha pravishanti. Apa means water. Pravishanti, they enter. Tadvat, in the same way, yam, that person whom sarve kama pravishanti. So many desires come and enter his mind. Look at something, oh, desire comes, I want to have it. Like that one. Though many desires come and confront the mind from different directions, such a person remains unmoved, unaffected by the desires. That person can be peaceful, will have peace. Saha, such a person, shanti apnoti, achieves eternal peace. Here, shanti is described by Shankara in the commentary as moksham apnoti. Shanti apnoti means moksham apnoti. Shanti means liberation. Liberation from all suffering, limitation. That will come by remaining unaffected by the desires, so many desires coming from different directions. Such a person will achieve peace. One has conquered the desires. Nakama kame, not a person who desires objects of enjoyment. Kama means desire, kama also means the object of desire. If somebody wants to have some money or power or position or something else to enjoy as a source of happiness, that person will not get peace. Because peace does not come from outside objects. It's a mistake to think that money will bring peace, children will bring peace, grandchildren will bring peace, my job will bring peace, family will bring peace. These are all not true sources. For some time they do, but not everlasting peace, unconditional peace, highly conditional. The only thing that comes, that from where peace comes, is being unaffected by desires, the kama kami. So that is sloka number 70. How to achieve peace? Conquering desires. How to achieve peace? By knowing God, by surrendering to the will of God, by knowing the self, Atma Jnana, and by conquering desire. Any of these. Then what to do? Sloka number 71, chapter 2. What to do to achieve peace? Vihaya kamanyas sarvan pumam charate nispraha nirmamo nirahankaraha sashanti madigachati. Saha, such a person, shanti madigachati, achieves peace, eternal peace. How such a person achieves peace? Sarvan kaman vihaya, giving up all desires. Some desires will have to be kept. Desire to see God, you have to keep. Desire to become a better person, you have to keep. Desire to practice all the virtues, compassion, love, not become angry, these things you have to keep. Other desires for enjoyment, you have to give up. Sarvan kaman yaha nispraha vihaya, giving up. Nispraha charati. Charati means leads his life, daily life. Nispraha means free from desires. Spraha means desire. Nirmamo nirahankaraha. Mama means mine. Mera apna. Nirmama means nothing mine. All his, not mine but his. Not mine but thine, O Lord. The moment I say something is mine, then I'm limiting myself. It becomes an upadhi, it becomes an added burden. If I say this book is mine, that is, I'm adding something which is not intrinsic. It becomes a possession and it will go away someday, or it will be there, I will have to leave. That's not permanent association, temporary association. It does not give permanent peace. Like that one, money, possession, children, all those things we know. Nirmama nirahankaraha, free from egoism. Actually, ahankara means body consciousness. Thinking I'm the body, I'm the mind. Just common to most people. What is the opposite of that one? Thinking I'm Brahman, I am God, I am one with God, I am the Atma. I'm not the body mind. The self-knowledge. That will give peace. Nirahankaraha saha shanti madhigacchati. Such a person achieves peace. This 71. Two slokas is the second chapter. And if this comes at even the last moment of life, then also it is worthwhile, it is important. We'll strive all our lives to try to achieve peace. Sometimes you get, sometimes you don't get. But total eternal peace will come at the end by knowing God, by knowing yourself, that is permanent. Last moment also it can come. That's in the last verse of second chapter, sloka number 72. There Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Esha brahme sthiti partha nainam prapya vimuhyati sthitva syam antakalepi brahma nirvana mritchati. Antakalepi stitva, even at the last moment of life. In the 8th chapter, we studied that whatever thought is uppermost in our life, at the last moment of our life, when we leave the body, that indicates our destination, where we are going to after leaving the body. If you leave the body thinking about God, repeating God's name, then you go to God after death of the body. If you think about the world, children, grandchildren, money, a job, something, house, property, then we'll come back to have those things in the next life. So what we think at the last moment is very important. How can we control that one? By thinking about the same thing all our lives. Suddenly, thought of God will not come at the last moment unless I have thought about God all my life. From this moment onwards, we should practice thinking about God all the time so that at the last moment, I will be thinking about God. That's why Shri Krishna says in the 8th chapter, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha. At all times, sarveshu kaleshu, at all times, mamanusmara. Smriti smaranam is remembering. Remember me at all times during the work. Even when you are engaged in worldly duties, in between you have to remember God. Then we'll remember God at the last moment. Then eternal peace will come to us. So Shanti Mahapnoti. That is sloka number 72. Now we come back to the topic of peace in the 16th chapter. So by knowing God, by surrendering to the will of God, by seeking self-knowledge, we can achieve peace. By conquering desires, we can achieve peace. These are all various ways in which peace can be achieved. One more thing has to be noted in this context. Everybody can achieve peace. Even wicked people can achieve peace. If we have done some mistakes, who has not done a mistake in our life? So if I have done a lot of mistakes in my life, I can also achieve peace. It does not bar me from achieving peace. This is explained in the 9th chapter. In chapter 9, there are two slokas. Sloka number 30, 31. What about people who have done sinful deeds? That question comes. All these things apply to people who have done good deeds, people who have been virtuous all their life. But what about me, who has done so many mistakes in my life? Can I achieve peace also? Yes. Bhagavan Shri Krishna promises actually in sloka 30, 31 in chapter 9. There he says, Apichet Sudaracharo Bhajate Mamananya Bhak Sadhureva Sagam Mantavyaha Samyak Vyavasito Hisaha Kshipram Bhavati Dharmatma Shashvat Shantim Nigachati Kaunteya Pratijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Please remember, Name Bhakta Pranashyati. My devotees will never perish. Bhagavan is promising. Apiche Sudaracharo. Shloka number 30-31 in chapter 9. Sudarachara means a person of bad conduct. Achara means conduct, how we behave. Durachara means bad conduct. Sadachara means good conduct. Sudarachara means very bad conduct. Even if a person has done many mistakes in one's life, Apiche Sudaracharo Manenebhak Mam Bhajate, worships me, thinks about me, remembers me at all times without thinking about other worldly things. Ananyabhat Mam Bhajate. Such a person, sadhureva samantavyaha, such a person should be known as sadhu. He should be considered as a sadhu. He may have done a lot of sins, like Valmiki. Best example of how a sinful person can reach God, eternal peace. He was a hunter and he used to rob people and kill them and support his family. But when he was asked, why do you do all these things? I support my family. Then do they share your sin? No. My sin I only have to experience. Then he got the Rama Mantra Diksha from Narada and Brahma. Starts chanting Rama's name, Valmiki. That's all he did. Give up all his sinful deeds. Became a great poet. Wrote Ramayana. Adi Kavi, Valmiki. Even today we remember him. Sinful person. Lot of bad deeds he did. Achieve eternal peace. So 9:30:31 gives us promise. We should not feel bad. Not that we should gloat that I did so many bad things. No, it's okay. Everybody has done. But hereafter I will not repeat. And I will take the name of God. Kshipram bhavati dharma atma. Quickly he becomes. Kshipram means quickly he becomes a dharmatma, virtuous person. Shashvat chantim nigachati. Achieves eternal peace. Shashvata. Kaunteya pratijani. Oh Kaunteya, I promise. You can promise. You can declare. Name bhakta pranashyati. My devotees shall never perish. So peace can be achieved by anybody and everybody. But we have to do one of these things. By knowing God, by experiencing self-knowledge, by surrendering our lives to God, by practicing pure devotion, and by giving up all desires. These are all various ways in which Bhagavan Shri Krishna explains how to achieve peace, eternal peace, in our life in the Gita. Shanti. So now we go to the next topic, next virtue. Krodhas jagas shantir apaishunam. This is simple. Paishunam means talking ill of others, even they are not there. Gossiping. True or not, that is very harmful to a devotee. We should never talk ill. Even that person has made some mistake. Why we should talk about it? Holy Mother's final advice is don't find fault with others. Think about your own faults. So talking about others' mistakes, shortcomings, real or imagine in their absence, that is paishunam. Apaishunam is not doing that one. You should not. This is also called backbiting. We should not do that one. Apaishunam means not speaking ill of others in their absence. Apaishunam. Let's see here. Shantihi. Apaishunam means apishunata parasmai pararandra prakatikaranam paishunam. Paranandra means other people's faults. Praktikaranam, exposing it, talking about it. Why we should worry about other people? Let me worry about my own faults first. Correct myself. Other people's lives I'm not in charge of their life. I'm not in directing their life. Their problem, they will deal with it. God is there to look after everybody. I'm not the one. So let me think about my own problems and try to solve it and become free from defects, not talk about others' defects. That is apayashana. Next one is daya bhuteshu, compassion towards all beings, not only human beings, animals and plants, compassion. And I would say one step more, even gentleness towards inanimate objects too. Daya bhuteshu. That means compassion towards all beings, kindness towards all living beings, seeing the same divine presence in all the beings. Why should I be compassionate? Why can I be cruel? Very bad. Cruelty is a very bad defect in human beings. Sometimes animals also are cruel, but not with intention, their nature. They don't think I'm being cruel, but human beings can be cruel and create enormous harm, damage, and pain to other people, as we are seeing in the world every day. Mass shootings and war, all created by people, all misery created by people. There are problems created by nature, these like forest fires and natural calamities and too much water, flood and no water. Now, those are natural calamities, suffering coming from nature. But people create uh, misery in other people's and in their own lives eventually. It'll all come back to them. So, very bad. We should be compassionate towards all beings. Daya bhuteshu aloleptvam. Aloleptvam means not yielding to temptation for sense objects when we see them. Aloleptvam means, supposing I see somebody wearing a very expensive Rolex watch, and I only have a psycho or whatever that ordinary watch, $10 watch. Then a desire comes. I should have that kind of watch. When I see some sense object, temptation, I want to have that one comes. Somebody is driving a very expensive car. Recently, there was in the news a car, most expensive car in the world, $143 million car was sold to somebody. It can go at 200 miles an hour, but if you come to Connecticut Avenue near our center, it can only go at 35 miles an hour. Cameras are there, you will get fined. So people want to have that. The desire to possess those things, when we see somebody else having it, that is loaliptvam. Aloaliptvam means not having that kind of temptation, not yielding to temptation to have sense objects when you see them. Even when you don't see them, you create in our mind and have temptation. That's also possible. Daya bhuteshu aloaliptvam. Three more things are there. Mardavam, hrihi achapalam. Mardavam means gentleness, not being harsh. Hri means modesty, not being brash. Achapalam means preventing all unnecessary kind of movement. These three things we'll study next time. Ahimsa, satyam, akrodaha, tyagaha, shanti, apaishvanam, daya bhuteshu. These things we studied today. Three more things are there, and one more sloka is there. Sloka number 3. Teja kshama dhriti shaucham adroho nati manita bhavante sampadam daivīṃ abhijatasya pandava. 3 slokas. First 3 slokas in chapter 16 describing various virtues. Daivī sampat. This is our wealth, divine wealth. You have to practice all of this, as much of this as possible. We shall continue our study next time. I'll say the closing prayer now. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May all be happy. May all be free from ill health and other problems. May all realize what is noble, auspicious, and dharmic and practice them. No one be subject to misery. Om peace. May there be peace in our hearts. Ajatmika Shanti. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. Adi Bhautika Shanti. And may there be peace everywhere in nature. Adi Daivika Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. All of you stay well and in good health, and God willing, see you next week. Namaskar. Murti Gaurav, Namaskar.